Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Sam Evans and you're watching the Electric Singularity. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. It's great to have you back. Now guys, if you are new, remember to subscribe to the channel, otherwise you probably won't get notifications for all our new videos. We bring out more EV videos than probably anyone else on YouTube, and we're hoping to continually increase those numbers. So obviously if you subscribe, that will enable me to make more and more videos about what you want to hear about. Now, EV sales this year are going crazy. In March, global EV sales were 373,000. They've gone down by about 100,000 this month due to seasonal changes, maybe potentially also chip shortages. However, EV sales in April jumped nearly fourfold from the same month last year. Nearly fourfold. So, what happens if we see EV sales jump again globally fourfold in the same month next year? Well, we'll be looking at about 1.1 million EV sales in 2022. I personally think we're going to see around about 1.5 million EV sales in 2022, maybe even 2 million. But let's just be conservative and let's just say 1 million. What happens again if they jump fourfold in the following month of April, the following year? Then we'll be looking at EV sales of 4 million in the month of April in 2023. Why do I think this is likely? Well, one reason I think this is likely is because battery manufacturing plants are drastically scaling up cell production. So are manufacturers. And we're going to hit price parity in 2022, probably late 2022, as the cost of batteries declines to around about $100 per gigawatt hour. That is the point at which batteries electric cars will reach price parity with their petrol counterparts. Now, the big jumps in percentage terms came from the Chinese and US markets, but the growth in EVs was widespread across the globe. Now, remember that in Europe, 7.5% of all cars sold in April were EVs. So global electric car sales in April reached almost 6% share of global car sales. European EV sales rose 136% year on year, reaching a 15% share, and Chinese EV sales rose 173% year on year, reaching a huge 10% market share. Now, the Chinese government has also changed its expectations. They expect to hit 25% market share of EVs in 2025. And what this means is the Chinese government is continuing to pay subsidies to battery makers, car makers, parts makers of EVs in China. And they have a huge number of companies, around 400 EV makers in China. But it means that the Chinese are putting themselves in position to potentially really take a huge stake in the global EV market. And that's what I believe will happen. Now, SAIC, Chinese company SAIC, recorded 50,000 EV sales in April. That was up 432% year on year. And BMW's Q1 2021 deliveries of EVs more than doubled, while Volkswagen sales of ID3 and ID4 surged in Europe. Now, to give you some numbers of where we're at, Tesla is leading. They led in April with 31,268 sales, while year to date they're at 216,000 sales. In second place is SGMW. Now, some of you might be wondering, well, who is SGMW? Well, SGMW is a joint venture between SAIC Motors, Chinese company, General Motors in China, and Liuzhou Wuling Motors. They make the Wuling EV, which costs only $5,000. So SGMW reported 30,000 sales in April, and year to date 133,700. Third place was Volkswagen with 29,394 sales and 89,655 sales year to date. BMW was in fourth place with 20,000 and 83,000 year to date. BYD was in fifth place with 25,000 and 78,000 year to date. In sixth place was Mercedes with 19,000 and 72,000 year to date. Seventh place was Volvo with 16,000 and 63,000 sales year to date. Eighth place was SAIC with 15,700 sales, or 57,700 year to date. Audi was in ninth place with 13,400 sales, or 47,000 year to date. Peugeot was in 10th place with 10,600 or 40,000 year to date. Great Wall was in 11th place with 7,500 and 38,000 year to date. Kia was in 12th place with 9,700 and 37,900 year to date. Renault is in 13th with 8,950 or 37,500 year to date. Toyota was in 14th place, 9,900, 32,000 year to date. And NIO is in 15th place with 7,000 and 28,000 year to date. Now guys, I should mention that BYD in 5th place actually manufactured their millionth battery powered car. And as you can see in my other videos, BYD are rapidly scaling up their efforts to build electric cars and to distribute those outside of China at prices that are directly comparable to their petrol, diesel counterparts from other brands. I believe BYD and Tesla will grow enormously over the next 12 months. So, top model sales globally. Source comes from evvolumes.com and Morgan Stanley. Number 1 was the Wuling Mini EV for $5,000 US. Now, technically, it's not actually a car, it's a quadricycle, but it looks like a car, so we might as well include it. They sold 29,251 for a market share of 11%. In second place was the Tesla Model Y with 16,000 sales. Third place was the Tesla Model 3 with 14,700 sales. Fourth place was the unspec LCVs with 11,700 sales. In fifth was the ID4, Volkswagen ID4 with 8,700. Sixth, Volkswagen ID3, 5,700. Seventh, BYD Han, 5,700. Eighth, Hyundai Kona with 5,200. Ninth, GAC Ion 5 BEV, 5,000. 10th, Audi e-tron, 4,939. 11th, Chevrolet Bolt, 4,900. 12th, Chery EQ, 4,900. 13, Great Wall Aura R1 and Black Sea, 4,600. 14th, Nissan Leaf, disappointing, but it's too expensive, at 4,500. 15th was the Renault Zoe with 4,500, 4,400 I should say. And just so you know, in the month of April, Tesla actually became the number 1 seller in France for EVs, with the Model 3 beating out the Renault Zoe, which is obviously a French car. 16th was the Kia e-Niro with 4,300. 17th was the SAIC Roe Clever BEV with 4,100. 18th was the Horizon Ninja V BEV with 3,800. 19th, the Chang'an Benny E-Star BEV with 3,800. And in 20th place, Peugeot E208 BEV with 3,700. Now, some of those numbers are estimates. Obviously, Tesla hasn't officially reported their sales yet, so we don't know the exact numbers, but those are the numbers that the market believes have been sold for the Model Y and the Model 3. Now, to give you an analogy of what is happening in the market, April this year versus April last year, the market increased in size by 4x, 4 times larger this year. The human mind really struggles to understand the concept of exponential growth. That is what we're seeing. A 4x is definitely exponential growth. Now, to explain how the human mind struggles to understand it, I'll ask you a question. Take a chessboard, 64 squares on a chessboard. Put a single piece of rice on the first square. Double that each square afterwards. So, what you would do is one grain of rice goes on the first square, 2 grains of rice go on the second square, 4 on the third, 8 on the fourth, 16 on the fifth, 32 on the sixth, 64 on the seventh, and so on until you get to the 64th square. How many grains of rice are there on the 64th square? Have a guess. If you guessed over 1 million, that's what most people guess. I've asked this question of hundreds of people. If you guessed over 1 billion, you're in the top 2% from what I've found. If you guessed over 1 trillion, well, I've never had anyone guess over 1 trillion before ever. So massive kudos to you. Put your name in the comment section. Tell me, let me know who you are. I want to know who you are because you're probably a very, very, very super intelligent person, but you'd still be 1 million miles off the real answer. So, piled up, the heap of rice on the final square, the 64th square, would be larger than Mount Everest. Not taller, larger than Mount Everest. On the 64th square of the chessboard alone, there would be 9 quintillion grains of rice, or 9,223,372,036,854,775,808. I don't know how to say that number, so I've just read all the numbers out to you. That's more than 2 billion times as much as on the whole of the first half of the board. 2 billion times as much as on the whole of the first half of the board. Now that's how exponential growth works. The human mind really can't comprehend it. We're just not made that way. We're made to think in linear fashion, in a linear growth kind of way. So the EV market has 4x'd in 1 year. What will happen in the following month of April in 2022 when EV prices continue to decline and we reach cost parity with petrol and diesel vehicles? We will see continued exponential growth in the EV industry. This will happen until complete market saturation in what I predict will be around about the year 2030. So this leaves enormous possibilities for companies to disrupt other companies. If businesses by 2025, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 are not offering EVs, other companies will come in and take their market share. Now that is what this channel is all about, identifying opportunities for you, telling you about the EV market, and finding out what is really happening and what is going to happen. Guys, thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.